Welcome back to Weekly Top 10 of Everything. There are many projects dedicated to saving our oceans and cleaning them from plastic. One of them is the Ocean Cleanup Project, which works with everything from ocean trash capture systems to innovative river barges. During the last few years, the focus has been on scaling up solutions in order to address bigger problems and areas. Founded in 2013 by then 18-year-old Boyan Slat, the Ocean Cleanup now employs approximately 50 engineers and researchers. In this video, we are going to discuss the Ocean Cleanup Project has started. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. The foundation is headquartered in Delft, in the Netherlands. Slat carried out a high school project on marine pollution, which led eventually to him dropping out of university to focus on the challenge of cleaning up the world's oceans. The system he and his team designed consists of a 600-meter-long floater that sits on the surface of the water with a tapered 3-meter-deep skirt attached below. The floater provides buoyancy and prevents plastic from flowing over it, while the skirt stops debris from escaping underneath. It is fitted with solar-powered lights, cameras, sensors, and satellite antennas. Research by the Ocean Cleanup shows that approximately 80 million kilograms of floating plastic debris and 1.8 trillion pieces of microplastic are distributed across the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, or GPGP. The Ocean Cleanup has also established that 1,000 of the world's rivers are responsible for roughly 80% of riverine garbage entering the oceans. And that's now what we've been able to resolve by having what you call a cork line, so a sort of large barrier that's floating on the surface, which prevents plastic from actually leaving the system again, said Slat. So far, the team has collected a large variety of plastic objects, ranging from large fishing nets to plastic objects such as cartons and crates. From the outside, the interceptor resembles a ship or a boat. From the inside, it's been designed to suit its purpose. A barrier is used to intercept the plastic and other forms of pollution, carrying it onto the conveyor belt, which continuously distributes the waste to special dumpsters placed on the interceptor. The innovators were well prepared for the efficient filling of the dumpsters too. A smart system recognizes which dumpster is not full and decides which one to fill with waste. One is a passive ocean cleanup system to remove existing plastic pollution, and the second is the interceptor, a river system that intercepts plastic from rivers before it enters the ocean. The Ocean Cleanup's mission is to rid the oceans of plastic, said Boyan Slat, founder and CEO of the Ocean Cleanup. With 1,000 rivers emitting nearly 80% of river-carried plastic into oceans, this massive problem grows by the day, which is why we're always looking to accelerate our progress. Among the waste we collect with our cleanup systems, we find many plastic bottles, including Coca-Cola packaging, so I applaud them for being the first in the industry to join our mission, as part of their wider actions to make a positive impact worldwide plastic pollution. Our clear intent is to take our learnings from this partnership, which has the potential to evolve in the future and continue to scale rapidly. That's why I believe this is good news for our oceans. While the Ocean Cleanup's success so far might seem like a drop in the ocean, pun intended, compared to the scale of the problem, the organization says it has proven the concept works, and the project has even more ambitious goals. In what it calls the largest ocean cleanup in history, it wants to remove 90% of ocean plastic pollution by 2040. The Ocean Cleanup wants to send interceptors to 1,000 rivers worldwide by 2025. The organization says it has not observed any entrapment of marine animals, and people will always be present to check the water while waste is being extracted. Plastic is now so ubiquitous in the natural environment that scientists are suggesting our era will go down in history as the plastic age. During a previous trial, the boom broke apart and no plastic was collected. Since then, changes have been made to the design, including the addition of a parachute anchor to slow down the device's movement in the ocean, allowing for faster-moving plastic debris to float into the system. A 2018 study estimated that the Great Pacific Garbage Patch contains roughly 79,000 tons of plastic. The cleanup installation showed promising results, but most researchers agree efforts should also be put towards preventing plastic from entering the ocean in the first place. A 2020 study found that more than 24 billion pounds, or 11 million metric tons of plastic, are being dumped into oceans each year. Moving slowly and catching ocean plastic along the way, System 002's latest haul brought in more than 9,014 kilograms or 19,872 pounds of plastic waste, which without their efforts would likely have still been floating out there 1, 5, 10, or even 100 years from now. Boyan said in October's announcement that if they catch the amount of plastic 3,000 times, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch will be gone. And with the deployment of the bigger upcoming System 003s in the coming years, reaching that 3,000 trip marker is a doable target. The ocean cleanup booms concentrate on man-made litter and natural floating materials like seaweed in small areas. Floating materials attract fish and other small life for shelter and food, and in turn are an attractive food source to birds, turtles, and mammals. Thus, the booms will create spots with increased foraging perspectives for such wildlife. For example, albatrosses eat a lot of eggs from flying fish. These fish attach their eggs as long strings to floating objects, whether synthetic rubbish or natural materials. The albatrosses often gobble up the string of fish eggs with the floating items still attached and feed the lot to their chicks. For the Laysan albatrosses on the northern Hawaii Islands, such as Midway Atoll, the fish eggs probably represent an important source of plastics found in the stomach contents of the chicks. When chicks are lucky, when they grow up, they are able to regurgitate a big ball of accumulated indigestible items from the stomach before they fledge. But depending on the form and shape of the ingested plastics, regurgitation sometimes is impossible, with a detrimental effect on the survival of the chick. If the ocean cleanup only concentrates but does not increase albatross foraging in the area, the effect may be neutral. But if more birds start feeding there, the impact on the albatrosses may be negative. Slat told the press conference in Rotterdam that the problem he was seeking to solve was the vast expense that would come with using a trawler to collect plastics. He said, "We are now catching plastics. After beginning this journey 7 years ago, this first year of testing in the unforgivable environment of the high seas strongly indicates that our vision is attainable, and that the beginning of our mission to rid the ocean of plastic garbage, which has accumulated for decades, is within our sights. We now have a self-contained system in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch that is using the natural forces of the ocean to passively catch and concentrate plastics. This now gives us sufficient confidence in the general concept to keep going on this project." According to a 2015 study in the Science Journal, much of the plastic in the Great Pacific Patch comes from only a handful of nations, namely China, Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. 80% of it originated on land and then entered the oceans through rivers and waterways. This statistic, as unfortunate as it is, actually provides some potential for improving the overall situation. Catching plastic in narrow waterways before it enters the sea is a lot easier than removing it once it has escaped into the open oceans. So far, ocean cleanup has built 4 of the systems. One has been deployed in Jakarta, Indonesia, one in Klang, Malaysia, and a third is waiting to be installed in Shantou, Vietnam. A 4th is due to be deployed in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Thailand has also agreed to the interceptor being deployed in a river near Bangkok, and agreements with other governments are approaching completion, including one in Los Angeles County, California. DNV, the organization that developed the ocean plastic standard used by nonprofits, authorities, and researchers to define plastic pollution, is well suited to provide expert, impartial validation of the ocean cleanup project's impact. Let us know your opinion in the comments section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Do not forget to subscribe to Weekly Top 10 of Everything to see new videos weekly. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.